What a performance then from Leeds. Huge disappointment for Chelsea fans, especially when they take a look at the table. Look at the gap now between Arsenal and Chelsea. 9 points between the two. Of course, Chelsea were kind of declared as the title contenders after what we saw at the weekend. But of course, that defeat, along with City and Aston Villa winning, meaning the Maresca's side dropped to 4th in the table. Blooming heck, Craig, where this come from to Chelsea?
They're 3 points behind Villa, who couldn't win a game at the start of the season. I thought they were excellent for the most part at the weekend against Arsenal.
I think everybody did. So that's why it's almost a bigger disappointment now if you're a Chelsea fan, because you think, well, if we could do that against 10 men against Arsenal, what the heck are we doing today?
What I don't get, and we just see this all the time now, a lot, is two of the best players that they've had, and certainly from the weekend, Neto, who's one of the most dangerous players. All right, Esteval is a youngster who does some brilliant stuff, but Neto's been consistently playing well for them. And Reece James, and I know he's had a lot of injuries, right? But not recently. He looks back to peak fitness, he looks sharp, he looks strong. He was playing in midfield against Arsenal and he was excellent. Really calm, good passing in the ball, all that sort of stuff. Those two were on the bench tonight.
Yeah.
Because somebody's telling managers, and we know who they are, you know, they played in the weekend, they've got a lot of big games coming up. But you've got to put some momentum together.
Yeah.
You've got to put a run of results. You've got to keep putting the pressure on. And you're not going to do that, or you're unlikely to do it, if you're leaving your best players out. Chelsea are not good enough, right, to leave their best players out. Maybe City a few years ago when they were dominating English football.
Arsenal today could do it, obviously.
Arsenal could do it because they're at the top of the league. They've got a little bit of a gap and they've got a really strong squad. And they're at home, to Brentford. Yeah. They're away to Leeds. I think Augie was saying just before we came on, Leeds have lost, one game?
Once at home in about 18 months. So, I mean, like you say, you're going to Ellen Road against a team that's fighting for points. You don't rest your best players. There's certain games you pick and choose, in home games when you've got an easier afternoon. But Leeds away, silly.
But it just seems we see this a lot now. And, you know, that'll be the excuse from Maresca will come out and I'm sure some of the journals will say, well, what about your team selection, Mark? Listen, I've got a lot of games, injuries. When you play like how... So, Chelsea, they beat Burnley away. It wasn't a great game, but they ground that out. They were excellent against Barcelona. They were excellent against Arsenal with 10 men. As a player, you just want to keep going. You never really feel tired when you're winning. The tiredness only comes mentally when you're in this sort of losing, a bit like Liverpool, you know, who had a real struggle. So I just don't understand. And yeah, Caicedo wasn't available, but that's not the reason that they lost today. They just got outworked by Leeds and I think made at least too many changes.
No team's going to be able to put a run of 12, 13 games together the way City did the last few years. When you keep continually changing the team every time it steps on the field. I was talking about standards that Chelsea set against Arsenal, but then they step on the field with changes up front, changes in the middle, albeit forced in the middle, and changes at the back. So how are you expected to keep your standards up when you're making all these changes? I mean, it makes no sense at all. And again, and I've said it a million times, how about you start Reece James and you start Neto, and then when you see them looking as though they're a little tired, then you take them off. Do it the other way. Don't bring them on for the last half an hour when it's too late and you're chasing the game. I mean, it's just, you know, people talk to us about, you're old school. Well, there's a lot of things that used to happen that were the right things, and they worked. But all of a sudden, everybody's thrown them out the window, and this is how we do it now. Well, guess what? The way you're doing it now, particularly Maresca, it's not working.
See, last season it was different because he had the Conference League, so what he would do, he would play his best players in the Premier League, and basically the other 12 or 13 would play in the Conference League, so that's how he was getting his games in. But now, obviously Champions League, you can't treat the Champions League like the Conference League, so he has to play all these players, and he's probably rotating too much, isn't he? There's no consistency there. Like at the weekend, Shalaban Fofana against Arsenal at centre-half played really well. Changes it. Yep. Why he's doing it, I don't know, but he's probably thinking, well, I've got Christmas coming up, a lot of games, we've got a game at the weekend, game in the Champions League next week. He's just made the wrong call at the wrong time.